In the vibrant heart of San Francisco, nestled among the busy streets of Union Square, a day began like any other in Crestworth and Company, an upscale department store known for its sleek collections and exclusive clientele. Shoppers drifted from one display to the next, their conversations blending into a soft hum that filled the luxurious space. But on this otherwise typical Saturday, an incident was about to unfold that would leave everyone present stunned and alter the lives of those involved forever. Sofia Rivera, a well-regarded Latina entrepreneur in her late 30s, dressed impeccably in a navy blue tailored suit and polished black pumps, had just arrived at the store. She was making a quick stop to check out a selection of limited edition handbags before heading to a community fundraiser. As she admired the collection, examining the detail on a hand-stitched leather clutch, she felt the comfortable anonymity of being just another shopper. Little did she know, a storm was brewing from across the showroom. Observing from a nearby aisle was Margaret Langston, a local socialite notorious for her outspoken and often unwarranted opinions. Margaret, with her sharp features and impeccably styled platinum hair, prided herself on knowing the type of people that frequented high-end establishments. The moment her gaze fell on Sofia, a prejudiced narrative formed in her mind. Unable to contain her assumptions, she took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Excuse me, excuse me," Margaret's voice rang out, sharp and cutting, slicing through the steady murmur of the store and catching the attention of dozens. Heads turned and conversations quieted. "That woman there," she said, pointing a manicured finger at Sofia, "is trying to make off with that clutch." The accusation hung in the air like a thunderclap. Sofia's hand paused midair, the clutch still in her grasp. Shock washed over her, not from any wrongdoing, but from disbelief. The collective gaze of the store fell upon her as Margaret closed the distance, her expression set in a mask of self-assured righteousness. "I saw you," Margaret insisted, her voice dripping with accusation. "Don't act surprised. I know exactly what you're doing." For a moment, the scene seemed frozen in time. The sales clerks exchanged nervous glances, uncertain how to intervene. One customer, peering over a rack of scarves, whispered to her companion, "Can you believe this?" Sofia took a steadying breath, meeting Margaret's gaze head-on. "Excuse me, ma'am, but I haven't done anything wrong," she said, her voice controlled, though her pulse raced with indignation. But Margaret was relentless. "Oh, please," she spat, arms folded tightly across her chest. "I've seen it before. You people think you can come in here and—" "Enough!" A deep voice cut through the growing tension. Elijah Brooks, a tall, broad-shouldered security guard who had been observing from a distance, stepped forward. He had been in the business long enough to recognize when a situation was fueled more by prejudice than fact. "What seems to be the issue here?" he asked, his expression unreadable as he looked between the two women. Margaret pounced on the opportunity. "This woman was about to steal that clutch. I'm telling you, I saw myself. We don't need to waste time with footage." The accusation was loud enough for bystanders to shift closer, curious murmurs spreading through the room. Sofia, standing tall, replied, "I'm not a thief. I was simply looking at this item like any other customer would." Her voice, though calm, resonated with a strength that challenged Margaret's claim. Elijah, sensing the gravity of the moment, nodded and motioned toward a store associate. "Ms. Rivera, if you're willing, let's clear this up with the footage from our cameras," he said, trying to keep the situation from escalating further. Sofia agreed with a curt nod, while Margaret's eyes darted nervously, the confidence slipping from her stance. The group moved toward the back of the store, accompanied by a handful of intrigued shoppers and a couple of sales associates whispering anxiously. Inside the small room, with its monitors and feeds, the footage was played back in silence. The video showed Sofia browsing calmly, handling the clutch with the care of someone considering a purchase, and then placing it back on the display. Nothing even remotely suspicious. Margaret's face flushed as the evidence undermined her every word. She stammered, "Well, it looked like—" "It's clear that no wrongdoing occurred," Elijah said, cutting her off with a look that brokered no argument. "Margaret Langston, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." At Crestworth and Company, We uphold a zero-tolerance policy for false accusations and harassment. A soft ripple of applause started from the onlookers who had gathered by the door, growing into a wave of quiet support for Sophia. Margaret's eyes widened. Humiliation etched deep into her expression. She turned on her heel and hurried out, the echo of her footsteps swallowed by the murmuring crowd. Sophia exhaled, the weight of the encounter settling over her. Elijah turned to her with a sincere expression. "Ms. Rivera, on behalf of the store, I apologize. This should never have happened." Sophia nodded, a bittersweet smile crossing her lips. "Thank you. But remember, it's not just about this moment. It's about changing what allows these assumptions to continue." The scene, recorded by more than a few smartphones, spread quickly through social media. Within hours, hashtag #StandWithSophia and hashtag #BiasUnmasked were trending, sparking a wave of conversation across platforms and news outlets. The footage served as a stark reminder of the importance of challenging assumptions and championing accountability. In the weeks following the confrontation at Crestworth and Company, the streets of Union Square were alive with demonstrations. Activists, community leaders, and ordinary citizens gathered to demand stricter measures against racial profiling and discrimination. The story of Sophia Rivera's experience had resonated deeply, sparking conversations far beyond the store's glass doors. Meanwhile, Margaret Langston faced the repercussions of her actions in a way she hadn't anticipated. Her reputation was tarnished, and her role at a prestigious architectural firm was terminated due to her violation of their ethical standards. For Sophia, life took a surprising turn. What had begun as a moment of public humiliation morphed into an opportunity for advocacy. Invitations to speak at community panels and collaborate with civil rights organizations poured in. Her voice became a beacon for those who had endured similar injustices but lacked a platform to share their stories. A few months after the fateful day at Crestworth and Company, Sophia found herself in an unexpected moment of recognition. A formal letter arrived in the morning mail, its embossed seal from Crestworth's corporate office catching her eye. She unfolded the crisp paper, expecting the usual public relations platitudes. Instead, she was met with a genuine offer that left her momentarily speechless. "Dear Ms. Rivera, in recognition of the incident and as part of our commitment to meaningful change, we invite you to join our newly established advisory council on equity and inclusion. Your insight can help guide our practices and policies across all branches." Sophia blinked in disbelief, a mixture of pride and determination swelling within her. The following week, she sat across from Crestworth's board, a formidable lineup that included the CEO, a well-known figure in the retail world. The atmosphere was serious, marked by anticipation. "Sophia," the CEO began, his tone somber yet sincere, "we cannot undo what happened, but we can learn from it. We hope you will help us create a future where no one has to face what you did." Sophia's voice, steady and resolute, filled the room. "If I agree to this, it must be real. This can't just be a box to check or a line in a press release. Real change means training, policies, and action that address the biases at their roots." The CEO nodded, a spark of determination in his eye. "We're serious. We need your help to redefine what it means to shop at Crestworth and Company." Months turned into a period of transformation. Sophia developed comprehensive employee training programs and spearheaded community outreach initiatives that partnered with social justice organizations. One memorable moment came when she stood in front of an auditorium packed with Crestworth employees, sharing stories of resilience and underscoring the importance of empathy and accountability. "This isn't just about one day in a store," she said. "This is about ensuring that each person who walks through these doors is treated with respect, regardless of their background." The applause that followed was thunderous, the kind that signified more than polite acknowledgement. It was the sound of genuine support for a vision of progress. News outlets took note, and Sophia's efforts were lauded across the industry. Other retailers began consulting her for advice, marking the start of a broader movement toward inclusivity. Margaret, on the other hand, had struggled to find her footing after her public fall from grace. Job rejections and public scrutiny became routine, but amid her isolation, An unexpected urge for introspection took hold. After months of quiet reflection, Margaret decided to reach out to Sophia. She sent a handwritten letter, its tone remorseful and raw. I know I have no right to ask for forgiveness, but I need you to know that I am trying to learn and change. If you are willing, I'd like to meet. Sophia, ever the advocate for growth and second chances, agreed to the meeting in a small cafe away from the public eye. Margaret's voice trembled as she spoke. I never understood how deep my biases ran until I saw how much pain they could cause. I'm sorry for what I did to you. Sophia's expression softened. Acknowledging it is the first step, she said. What matters now is what you do with this realization. Margaret took those words to heart, joining local workshops that focused on unconscious bias and volunteering at organizations that promoted racial equity. Sophia's journey from a moment of public confrontation to becoming a catalyst for corporate and individual change had proven that even moments of great discomfort could sow seeds of redemption and progress. The event that started with a wrongful accusation had blossomed into a testament to the power of resilience, understanding, and the pursuit of justice.